All right, we're with Elias today with his Harley Davidson V-Rod. What year model is that?
It's an 04 V-Rod, it's a 1080cc.
1080cc.
V-twin.
So,
Fuel injected.
now,
Yeah.
is this a standard bike? Have you done anything to it?
I bought it the way it is.
Yeah.
But there has been a lot of modifications to it. Front guard, hand grips, mirrors,
Yeah.
levers, foot levers, exhaust.
What's the exhaust?
Mate, that's what it says it is here. Super Trap.
Oh, right, okay.
Right?
All right.
Well, that's the muffler on it anyway.
Are they the standard wheels for that bike?
They are the billet wheels are the standard wheels for it. Yes.
Right.
They do get a little bit, tend to get a little bit. You have to lean on a good angle when you're riding and the wind's hitting you a crosswind.
Right. Okay.
There's obviously no spokes; they're a solid rim.
Yeah.
But yeah, really enjoy riding this. I've also the calipers have been changed, the headlight, front forks, and these guards. What else has been done? It's had like a full airbrush job done to it. This is also aftermarket, because what usually happens is they're a bit rounder, and the speedo actually sits on the old bars because these bars have been replaced as well. So there's been like 15 grand or 10-15 grand worth of extras put on this bike.
Right.
By the previous owner.
Right.
And I've got all the original parts as well, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I can go back to standard if I really wanted to. These bikes are really good. Once you start hitting at about 6,000 revs, right, this bike just takes off. After about 5,500-6,000 revs, it just boots right up to about 9,000, which is its red line, well, 9.5. I don't usually take it to that limit. I'm usually changing gears around the 3,500 rev mark, because that's when the pitch of the bike really sounds tough. It sounds like a V8 when you're riding it at that rev. You know what I mean? Like a V8 motor.
What's the cc capacity of this thing?
It's a 1080cc.
1080.
Yeah.
Okay.
They came out later on with a 1280 or a 1300 they called them, but this was the first model that they brought out, which was in 202. I think the first one came out.
Right.
And they stuck with this motor up until 2006. And then they went up to a 1280.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure you can do an upgrade on this motor as well to make it to 1280, or even go to a 1360. But don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. What tyres have you got on the front?
It's an Avon on the front.
What?
And
Our Cobra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm dark siding on the back.
You got a car tyre on the back?
Yeah, mate. And this is like.
What make of tyre is this one? What brand?
This I think it's a Michelin. It's a Michelin. It's reinforced. I made sure I got a reinforced sidewall, so there is steel in the sidewall just in case you are leaning. But as you can see, I'm not really even hitting the edge of the tyre on full lean, and I've pegged it a lot. While I've been using this tyre, I found I've got more grip in the wet and on the road than a bike tyre has. I believe, through my experience in riding this, which has been on now for about 5,000 Ks, it's a fallacy that you need a bike tyre on a bike. Right. It's a fallacy, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that this restricts you from doing is holding a straight line until you get used to it. Once you're used to it, the bike sits straight. But until you get used to it, the bike wants to sort of divot out of the ruts in the road. And when you're on the pitch of a road, it wants to either divot left or right. So the good thing is though, is that'll last me 35,000 Ks, and a bike tyre you'd be lucky to get 12 out of.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's ultra soft compound as well.
Right.
Right. So
what was the cost of that tyre?
$190.
Right. And the front one, what did it cost you?
600.
Oh shit.
Yeah, well, $590 I got done on it. I know I got done on it, but
so who fitted the car tyre?
I fitted it myself.
Did you?
Mate's he's got his own tyre service place.
Right.
So no one wanted to touch it, by the way.
Yeah.
Everybody said, nah, I'm not touching that. So
yeah.
I said, well, I'll touch it.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that when I take this tyre off, I'm going to have to cut it off, because it was a very, very tight fit, Rob.
Yeah, I bet.
But all in all, the V-Rod's a great bike, but I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't recommend a Harley Davidson to anybody who rides on a regular basis. If you're going to ride on a regular basis, stick to the Jap bikes, right? Steer clear of the Jukers. I know that they cost a lot of money. Unless you got the dollars, it's good. If you got the dollars to own one of these and ride it every day, because I'm usually on this bike 3 to 5 times a week, it's a great thing. But I had to replace the clutch in it at 35,000 Ks, and that's saying a lot. Right? And it was an ultra heavy duty clutch that was installed in it.
And what other problems have you had with the bike?
Apart from the clutch, if you pop around this side, see the stator lead? If you look down the bottom here where my foot is, the bottom there, the stator lead, the rubbers in those tend to wear out fairly quickly as well, every 20,000 Ks.
Right.
So I've had to pull that side of the motor housing off and get new grommets for it, and you can't find grommets for this particular model, so you have to go to the 2008 model and get the grommets off that. They want you to replace the whole stator when the grommets on these run out.
It wouldn't be cheap.
No, they're $1,500 for a stator on this. So, like I said, if you're going to buy a bike for everyday use, stick to the bikes that you know, the good ones, the Yamahas, the Kawasaki's, the Suzuki's, the Japanese bikes, because you're going to get a lot more wear and tear out of one of those than you would out of anything that's made by Harley Davidson, Triumph, or even Indian, right?
Yep.
Because they're basically they're all made to fall apart quickly, so you can spend money on parts, and I suppose that's society today in general.
Yeah.
But you're going to get a lot more use out of something that's.
But have you had any problems with the bike? Like,
No, none at all. Like, apart from every time that
nuts and bolts?
something starts to rattle, yeah, you've got to go through it and Loctite it. But after you've Loctited it, it's fine, and then you just wait for the next one to rattle loose, and then Loctite that, and then. So I've Loctited basically the mirrors. I've Loctited all the nuts under these, under the foot. Look, see, that's already come loose. Look, and I've Loctited that as well. Right. I've Loctited the gear shift lever. What else have I done? I've also get a lot of problems with these. These don't tend to stay up. Every time I ride, they drop down.
Right.
Right. I've put new springs in them, and it just won't seem to. It doesn't seem to, fix the problem.
What about the belt drive on it? Have you replaced that, or is it that original?
No, that was replaced at 20,000 Ks. I bought the bike at 22,000.
Right.
He gave me a receipt to say that was replaced at 20,000 Ks.
Right.
So there's another thing that you need to replace it around the 20 mark.
Yeah?
I'm not too sure how because he said his son used to ride the bike. That's why he wanted to get rid of it, because his son was a learner. Yeah. So I'm not sure how it was treated while his son was riding it, but I'll be honest with you. I know that if you hold the revs up on this bike and drop the clutch, you're fishtailing all the way up the road, right? And you don't even need to hold the revs that high. You just need to hold them above 4,000 revs.
How much do you reckon a belt would cost for this?
I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you that the clutch cost me about $600 from Harley. And that only included the plates, the friction plates, and the clutch plates.
And
right?
who fitted it?
I fitted it.
Okay.
Right, and if you don't have a clutch hub tool, which is worth $400 from the States, and you got to pay for delivery, and you got to wait for 3 months for it to get here, maybe 5 now, and you've also got to have a clutch alignment tool.
Okay.
Which was a problem in the beginning. I couldn't figure out why the clutch wasn't working every time. I pulled it out and put it in about 3 times, and then I ordered a service manual, and it said you need a clutch alignment tool, and all that is a 3/4 inch piece of plastic, which I actually got a mate of mine to 3D print, and it cost me $3 instead of $36. And that actually sits in between your friction and your clutch plates, and it bases out on the actual where the clutch actually bases out on the flywheel, and it holds all your plates and your discs in place. And then you've basically got to figure out how to pull that out nice and gently, and then bolt up, put that nut in and bolt that in without any clutch, without any of the friction discs or the clutch plates dropping behind. Otherwise, when you push your clutch in, all you're just going to get is a hard, sorry, left hand, all you're going to get is hard lever, mate.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, Elias, we're running out of battery here, so I guess that's it for us.
All right, thank you very much for the interview, Rob.
No worries, mate.
Peace and happiness to all your viewers.
Okay.
See you later.
See you later.